Good afternoon, everyone. Today I wanted to take some time to make a video discussing why I joined eXp as a brand new agent. Hi, my name is Ivan Cano. Hopefully you stick around to the end of the video and find something informative, but I'll go ahead and get started and get right into it. Really, I gotta give a little bit of insight into my approach. So I may be new to the real estate industry or new to being a real estate agent, but I'm not new to business. Before making a pivot and going into a different career change, really I've had an extensive background in business in my previous professional history and experience. So that really weighed heavily on my approach to real estate. And what I mean by that is, even before I started my licensing in that whole journey, I knew the end goal was I'm going to be a broker. I really wanted to build a real estate business, and so that was my approach from the onset. And knowing that, that's what really made me decide to go the route I did, which was go to the eXp from the onset. Now, I went ahead and got my license. I did that whole thing. And I happen to know through my sphere, network, I have a real estate agent who's pretty much winding down. He's retiring, but I reached out to him to let him know, like, hey, I'm going to get into real estate. What do you think? And just get feedback and input. And really, he, was ecstatic about it. He actually tried to get me into real estate before I graduated high school, just kind of get me prepped. But I knew better back then, the young me, and I went in a different path. But he really told me, interview a bunch of different brokerages, find what fits best for you, and just kind of go with it. But really, he set me on the right path and just kind of gave me the right mindset at the approach. He also happened to introduce me to a very good friend of his who also happens to be the owner of one of the largest, if not the largest, local brokerage here in my market. And I hit it off. Our 15-minute phone call went well past the hour, and I couldn't get enough. Just, good conversation, business owner to business minded owner, if you will. We just clicked, and I definitely knew if it wasn't, I wasn't going to join any other brokerage in El Paso besides that one with her or eXp. Now, full disclosure, guys, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. What got eXp on the map for me or put it on my radar was the negative connotation. I'm the kind of guy that if someone is being critical of something, it's going to pique my interest, and I'm going to want to know why and find out where that stems from. So that led me to research eXp. Now, mind you, coming from my background, when I saw the model, it made sense. And furthermore, it just really got down the decisions to either this large local brokerage, which, the broker and the owner was awesome and we just hit it off, or it was going to be eXp. And really, this is where my decision-making process kicked into gear, and I looked at it, like I said, from an approach of just business and a business owner mindset. I just, did the comparisons, and if you'd like, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to, have a conversation one-on-one and just kind of discuss any questions you may have regarding eXp or other brokerages as best as I can. I have no issues with that. I'm always willing to help. So anyway, getting back to my story is, once I realized the eXp model and it made sense to me, I basically did just what I've done in my previous professional history, making business decisions. And the way that happens with me, just to sum it up really quickly and not make this a huge long business video, is really I did an analysis, again, my background, on the downside and the possible upside, because you don't really know, right? So really, when I did the numbers, I did everything in just my decision making process. It really came down to, what downside do I have starting with eXp? And to be honest, guys, there wasn't any. I mean, if eXp basically, and again, this is full disclosure, not going to sugarcoat it. Again, in business, you take risks, calculated ones, right? So I did that, and I decided to go with eXp because the way I look at it, what's the downside? And again, my commitment was minimum of 5 years, but again, now I can tell you, anyway, I'll get into that in a different video. But really, my commitment was long term. And I had that mindset, so I'm going to give it a shot, but I really walked it through. So I end up giving the quote unquote 5 years, what's the downside? And really there wasn't any, because when I looked at the model and just considering it just as a straight brokerage, it's very competitive. So on that plane, it was really it was a no-brainer for me, because again, just as a straight traditional brokerage, it was very competitive with everything else being offered by other brokerages. So in that aspect, I didn't really see a downside. But the upside, and again, this is where, you know, the faith or calculated risk comes into play, because I knew, just coming from a different whole industry and background, the model, if it actually turns out to what it's looking like it's going to be, then the potential upside was massive. And that's what really just made me decide to go ahead and start with eXp, because I knew if it pays off, it's going to pay off big. And if it doesn't, the downside is basically non-existent except your time. But again, if you just compare them as a straight brokerage, they're very competitive. So if you just want to sell homes and you just want to do the traditional real estate method with a traditional brokerage, they're very competitive. So I mean, to me, it was just an easy decision to take that route. But again, I can't say it enough. If you have any other questions and you want to drill down in a specific aspect of eXp, or what my take or what really convinced me, there's a multitude of reasons I can get into, and this would just get to be a very lengthy video, which I don't want to do. But I'd be more than happy to discuss. Feel free to reach out anytime, shoot me an email, text, or what have you. I'm very open about it, no issues, no pressure, and be more than happy to discuss. But really, it's just, there's so many things that I love about eXp now that I'm actually in eXp. But just standing from the outside looking in, from a business-minded standpoint, it just made sense. And again, it's just literally came down to that. What's the downside and what's the upside or potential upside? And that's really what I based my decision on. And so far, guys, it's been a great decision. I can't say it enough. But again, I just wanted to make a short video discussing why I joined eXp. Hopefully you guys found this helpful. But as always, life is good. Always make it count.